He's a really miserable child. I know. Are
What
you
is
happy to see
CPI?
me? It's been a while.
Cortical vision impairment.
Oh, okay, okay.
What it is that you think your eye thinks it's seeing something, but by the time it gets to the brain, it's not there. So you'll see a lot of times where the kids will look at an object and almost like they're looking
Like it
into
just
a light.
disappeared.
No, but they'll do this, like it's magnesium. You know, like I want to look at it, but it's just too bright, and so and by the time, so when a parent goes, oh, but it's here, oh, but it's here, oh, you know, so they come back to look at it and it's gone, and so they lose that registration.
They,
And they also want
actually,
him to
it's
do a
just too
doc,
much stimulation.
Yeah.
That's what it is. It's just, they can't stand. It would be like if somebody was putting their fingers down a chalkboard. That's how irritating it is to their system.
Would a toy like
I thought I
that
heard
be
it.
I
irritating?
would never start out with a toy
Okay.
like this.
That's how Morgan was. She'd just pull the shirt down, and then she'd go back.
This is Diane's arsenal more so than mine.
Yeah, I noticed when he was looking at me,
like Arlie.
that he would look
Come on now.
very carefully and slowly, and then he'd look away, and then he'd come back. Everything was very measured. Yeah.
And that's what happens is
Yeah.
that he can only look just so long. And it's not that he doesn't want to,
Yeah,
it's that his little system just can't.
right.
And, but with that though, what you have to do is work as slow as he's working. And that's where I think most therapies and parents drop the ball because they don't know better, but they do it in such a speed that it's just like,
Yeah.
so again, if you were to move your face or an object while he's busy studying it, and his thing, he could be doing it for a half hour. And that's what's nice about Mason is he does have a very long attention span. Now, can you explain the black and white plate and how to use it?
This, we can use it actually for, there's a test with different sizes here that you can actually get an acuity on a baby. And, but what I use it for is because his eyes, any child's eyes are just drawn to it. And, so you can really, this is like a lower level vision, I guess you would say that, but what I want to do is make sure that, you know, he's using his vision.
Does it matter whether the stripes are presented horizontally or vertically?
No.
Black and white, the baby's automatically drawn to it.
Is that why you saw such a rise again in all the black and white baby toy stuff?
Yeah, but you don't want to do that because they are forced to look at that. So when you do all these black and white baby toys, especially if they have visual abnormalities, it's almost like being forced to watch TV or something 24/7. Your eyes, they don't get to rest because you're
And you
just...
see how his eyes kind of stagnate and then they bounce?
You know, I'm at a real bad angle and I can barely see his eyes.
Do you want to switch me? Would that
No,
help?
I'll come over here.
I
I don't know
will,
if I can see
here,
it from up here.
here.
Don't eat my stuff. No.
Now, Diane has evaluated more babies probably than, so she used to evaluate all the babies going to FBC. I know, I'll stop talking because you'd rather look at the plate.
Believe it or not, in Maricopa County at one time, we had 300 babies in the program. Is that funny? Isn't that the funniest thing? Yeah. Yeah. Now, I will say that this is a little bit unusual because if his CVI were in the higher numbers, or the lower numbers, I mean, he wouldn't be able to do that. He stayed with it, he can follow it, so that's really a good sign. CVI usually never gets worse, it only gets better. And the difference between what Michelle and I do is it's just so fast, where it took us such a long time to bring the kids along before. There's something that just clicks and...
Well, no, what it is that when you used to do it before, no one was touching the baby. So
Right.
the baby would lie there flat in their backs. What I'm doing is, see how he'll just, see, look at the level of balance now with his foot. See, he doesn't have that rotation. So his body is sticking in this position, which is nice that he's going over. But see the lack of rotation through the foot. See if I bring him back? See how the foot doesn't want to rotate? It wants to actually go this way. So it's pulling him over, which is fine. So, but what I'm doing, why Diane's doing that, look at how, just like I worked on you, his rate of extension and how his diaphragm changes, how he can breathe and look at the same time. When you're busy arcing your foot like this, guess what? You're not breathing as efficiently. And so the vision gets very limited. So Diane still was doing a good job doing all of this, but since no one was doing the integration with the eyes to the rest of the system, and that's where my son had CVI, it's now at 10, you know, Cassie hasn't taken it away, but he was at 3.5. So Graham was legally blind at times, so that's why he started out at FBC. And, you know, to see him play piano now and people go, but most kids don't do that well with the CVI because everyone's doing vision work where the baby's just lying there. Or what's worse, restricted. So what I'm gonna do now, like, let's say if he was like in a bouncy swing and you were doing vision. So, watch the difference in his eyes. See, he lost the object. You see that? Just there? See how his eyes were dropping down? See, now he's not into the plate. He'll go back and forth. But now I'll let go. See the difference in his eyes? Just from restricting the pelvis. So if you put a kid in a car seat, like there's a whole visual program to do, but the kid's restricted the whole time. And I'm like, how do you work on vision when you can't restrict the pelvis? So they put him in the bouncy seats or that kind of thing, so they have the child like up at an angle thinking that he'll see better. But all of these have a harness system. Look at the difference now. So I'll restrict him again. See? The black and white object's no longer interesting. You see that? And he's getting a little fussy. Okay, I'll let you go. I let you go. What?
You're black and white too, so stare at you.
What?
Oi, God bless you. Oi, God bless you.
So his midbrain thing wasn't a corpus callosum, right?
That's what he's having him tested for.
Okay, good.
And there was one other one that he said he was gonna send to Dr. Hoffman and request testing.
Because he could, but he's going from side to side pretty, how old is he? 9
He's,
months.
yeah.
She thought it was 8 months, but today's actually 9 months.
He should be 8 months.
Oh my goodness
What
sakes.
Due dates were.
But his was October 28th.
What happened?
Mine was
Huh?
September 29th.
That's okay.
Oh, it's over there.
That's okay, Hannah. Maybe something. Oh, tell her. Tell her.
It's not my fault, it's her. She stayed with the black and white plate too long.
October 31st.
She's 1 year old.
Yeah, tell her.
Crazy girl.
What happens if the corpus callosum isn't there is that tracking becomes harder to cross midline and do all kinds of those kinds of things. But he's doing pretty well, so I'd be surprised if it was missing. Psst, 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 psst.
Normally I could care less, you know I don't.
You edit out all our secrets.
Okay, now he's doing the CVI. He'll look at it and then he looks away.
Do you see his eyes bounce?
That's CBI.
Oh, is that what that
No,
is?
no, no, that's,
Oh.
you mean nystagmus.
Yeah.
I haven't seen much of it yet, it's still, oh yeah, a
Yeah,
little
a little
bit,
bit.
a little bit. And so did Dr. Cassidy think that was from, because there's two nystagmus reasons, one is the brain and the other one is vision. You know, decreased vision. Did he say which he thought it was?
Well, he told me, you know, the thing about the right eye with his left part of his brain missing. But he didn't,
He feels he's gonna drop the vision on the right side because the lower left lobe is missing.
Oh, I forgot the one. Okay.
Doesn't matter because you're blue-eyed, so you're up rank. Gotta keep those blue eyes going.
Oh my goodness.
you know, since the accident, he's been really bad. Startling.
Oh yeah, now you can breathe. See the breathe, the breath?
Mhm.
How long it took for him to settle? So now, if you don't mind, I'd like to flip him and work on his head while you do vision.
Sure.
Lip, lip, lip.
So how is having a vision problem like this,
Right
where
here.
he's sensitive to the stimuli, how does that translate in like him hearing noises? Do noises also?
There's not a correlation between the two.
Actually, Dr. Cassidy, way back when, wanted to do a study, because with the CBI, wanted to know how Graham's hearing was, and I keep telling everybody he's got hearing issues, and he wanted to do a study with the correlation of CBI and cortical auditory impairment, CAI.
Yeah, they can have both of them, for sure.
Right. But as,
And especially a child that has like severe problems.
but my thing is, sorry, and that's where I work, if he can't react to the stimuli, then it goes. You know.
Yeah, his startlings. He's epileptic.
Oh, that's right,
Yeah.
that's right.
But he doesn't have
Is it
constant
funny?
seizures.
No, he has quite a few a day though.
Is it funny?
Especially since the accident's been way worse.
What do you think about his hearing?
Oh, he hears very well.
Did she tell on you
See, I've been concerned.
about his hearing?
Because sometimes when you take beads out and stuff, there's no, you know,
Hi. Hi.
like if someone's playing with the beads on the side, like I don't see him always going for the noise.
Oh, really?
Of course, now that I said it, won't happen. See there, he's going fine.
So that visually, this is a higher level with this colored toy. And you know, it's a lot of colors. Usually with CVI, if you're gonna do like real stuff, you have a black something around them, you know, so that they have no distractions. He doesn't need this, but a kid that would be, you know, really worse, you would work in a quiet, you know, place like that. But then once again, if Michelle wasn't in there doing the same thing, you're gonna be doing that for a long, 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 long time. Whereas they can change in a week. You can see a.
That's it.
Hey,
He wants
come
to
here
sit
and
up
get
so
it. Come here and get it.
Does he do that on his own?
Yeah, I took him for a ride to keep him successful.
Come on. Yeah, you could do it.
His back peters out right at that point.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to
Come
come
and
back.
get it. There you go. There you go. What's gonna happen? Boom. Boom.
But you see the difference when the head has that kick and doesn't?
I know your feet are so cute, aren't they? Yeah, such cute feet.
But see, what I'm doing is working with him slow enough so the breathing stays consistent, the balance stays consistent. I'm keeping him successful. So the more and more I find that you put them in dark rooms and whatever, they get worse and worse not being able to handle certain stimuli.
Well, you only do that for short periods.
Well, I know, but I had a VI teacher tell me that I was a very mean mother because I would always take my kid to McDonald's and stuff like that, and he would throw up. He was so upset, and the next day I'd go back to McDonald's. I'm sorry, McDonald's. My kid's thrown up in more fast food places. But and then they finally were like, you don't realize we don't like McDonald's. I said, I do. I said, but this is the real world. Smells and electric lights and fluorescence and kids.
Screaming.
Do you want to?
And I swear that's why my kids aren't self-contained. Whereas,
Do you?
We had friends like that with like a little girl
Here
with
we
like
go.
Down syndrome.
Hey,
They're like, we're just not gonna expect that she's gonna do nothing with her life.
come on.
And so they expected her to be pretty much normal. And
Come on.
he did it more for the red toy. Maybe that's the difference.
she can't do everything, but she can do a lot more than quite a few kids.
If you allow the diagnosis to be the diagnosis, then that's what you're gonna get.
He loves these.
I would just guess he's pretty high on the CPI scale. Did Dr.
No, he didn't tell me.
Did he do it?
Did he do what?
Did he test him for how high he was? Sometimes he does.
I don't know if he did or not. I gotta get a copy of the report.
I doubt it. I don't think he did with us. I didn't do my CBI scale until.
Well, that was before we
foundation.
got him to do it.
It's a hard one.
Good. He kept his eyes on it for a lot of the time, not completely, but.
Now, putting the child up through center is much more difficult for the child, I get it, but visually it's the most successful. To come her up around through their side and try and stabilize their horizon,
What?
I'd rather have them come up and see and then work around.
Hi.
There, see now he's putting his arms up and that's what'll get him up. Before he had the arms back.
Are his seizures more at night or during the day?
Whoopsie daisy.
Both. Okay. Okay.
Whoopsie daisy. Whoopsie daisy. Whoopsie daisy. There we go. Here we go. Whoopsie daisy. Here. Yeah. There
See,
you
that's
go.
more of a proper way to sit up through the side.
There you go.
But it wouldn't help if you actually put your legs down once you get there. See, he doesn't have the kick with the feet, so it's not bringing him up. Oh, what was that? Was that Arlie? Is that your girlfriend?
Come on. Come on.
And see how when he's not ready to sit up, I don't bring him.
Say yay.
I'm not going to teach him how to be successful at something that would never happen.
Hey. Oh, where'd they go? There they are. There they are. There they are. Is that too many times for you?
It's hard.
I really like the way he can look for a long period of things. I'd be real encouraged about that.
Not only that, but he has amazing play and social skills, for no offense, missing part of his brain.
Yeah.
He doesn't know it.
He doesn't know it.
Well, that's what Cassidy said. You never know how he'll rewire his brain.
Yeah. How about something different?
See what's not happening in that left arm? It doesn't want to rotate around. See the difference?
Is that the ball?
See how the arm won't rotate, just stay
The ball?
straight.
You don't like that? There you go. There you go.
It's very important for the chicken dance as well as to hold your toys as a baby.
Where is it? Where did it go? All right, come up here. Here it is. Here it is. No, here. Reach for it. Yeah. Not with your feet. Yeah. Boom. 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 That's pretty big,
There's a
isn't it?
smaller noise one.
Now, are you seeing the conversations that I was having about wagging your tail?
What? What happened to Happy Face? Huh? Does he have more nystagmus than what I'm seeing?
You mean where his eyes stutter?
Uh-huh.
A lot of times when he has his seizures, that's what his eyes will just sit and bounce like that.
Oh, but just normally.
Oh yeah, he does it most of the time when I watch him stare at things.
Okay. Hi. Hi. What? What? Oh my goodness. My goodness. So that I would never use these with him. These kinds of things with him, right?
Well, Cassidy said to.
No, not these.
Lights?
Not-
Oh, he
not
said
these
use
kind.
lights and
Yeah,
music. and-
lights, but not these kind of lights. Not lights like this that are flashy
Oh, okay, yeah.
and
No,
all that.
no strobe light type.
No,
You
no,
probably want more.
because they can cause seizures. So,
See how these are like, you can put these on your finger. And you can highlight with the beads.
or especially this.
see how his attention's right on it.
So the things that are real overstimulating, you don't really want to do with him. And he doesn't need them. He doesn't need them at this point.
But you see, when I stopped working with him and just did the light toy, how little his movements go down. Because he's so busy working on his eyes, his body's like, yeah, have a nice day. And right there is actually the complications that develop, not in his case, but can develop in some kids with autism, because they have to concentrate so much on the object, they can't turn, so socially, when the kids go running by,
Oh my
they're not picking it up. He has really good social skills, so I'm just using that particular as an example. Which one is best for you?
The other thing about him is that his cortical visual impairment isn't that bad because he had 2 toys and he wasn't having any problem with it.
So when you say he's high, that's good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the higher the better.
CVI goes from 1 to 10, 10 being the best.
Okay.
That's great. You switch back and forth. Hi. Are you happy now?
Let me tell you, after an hour with me and Diane and stuff, it's like I like to say, they don't sleep, it's not from anything I didn't do. Even this, now that I'm here, he's much more, like if I took my hand away, his head would be dead in the water type thing. But when I have my hand just underneath him, he's doing most of the work. I'm just going for a ride.
Thursdays are the best nap day of the week.
Yeah, I didn't get to feel you up much earlier today, so.
That really goes so bad. I'm like, yes, it's swim before bed.
So see the difference?
Sure.
Now, I'm not sitting there holding his head. I'm sitting here literally like, again, enough to keep him successful. But I've worked with Diane enough that I know where his eyes are gonna go and his hands, and so I go with that.
And that's really the beauty, because his eyes can make, I mean, kids could just go to sitting or lift up from their tummies or whatever it is, and
Or
it's
just
just
getting
so
a movement
fast.
vocabulary with the vision versus just getting vision.
Do you need a book? So he doesn't really need lights for his vision stem. And just move real slowly when you're doing stuff with him. Like move whatever the toy is that you're working with him. Just do it slowly. And then you'll gradually move up and do it a little bit faster, like we go one toy and have him move back and forth. He can do that though, right now. And he looks pretty quickly, and that's another thing that you look for.
But even to do something like this and just have your daughter in Diane's position or your husband, and just making faces or just like she said, holding the beads, but just allowing him to get that head lift more and more. Because that's what
you can
keeps
make it a happy place on a paper plate. You got a toy.
Yeah. Just don't do it for hours on end with the black and white. Give his eyes a break. And 3 minutes of success is better than an hour of saying, okay, it's therapy time.
once, that's all. So when he goes to track, this is what he does. If I was doing this, he goes like this. He's off. Goes back again. He's off. Goes like that. Which is really, it's still really, really good. And I'm sure that he's gonna. Look at you. Whoops, where'd they go? Went up here.
What I'm doing out here is I'm working on, just like I was talking about you, or showing the extension. So I'm
He's
around
not able to.
the vertebrae here,
No,
He's working too hard.
and see how I'm rotating the chest cavity and working on just the extension of the spine. See the difference of holding the head up here, and watch this vision in this position?
If I could bring his head up.
Oh,
Oh, this one's actually broken too.
let's take this one away from putting it in your mouth. Throw that one out there. So I want to show you the difference between here, the vision, with the rounded back and the head forward, and then see if you'll make the difference here.
Here you go. There you
See
go.
how much more though he can work the room, just in that little position.
He still wants to keep his head down, so that makes it right. There you go.
He's tired.
He's tired,
He is,
yeah.
and yeah.
But still, if I was down
But
here
he's
though,
doing it.
Sure.
look at the difference. He can't look over here.
Yeah.
See, this is the range of motion. See, look at how hard that is to
Well, and
look
when
over
you
on that side.
when you had him up straighter, he even extended that leg.
Yeah. Well, the pelvis is free. So when I'm up here, that's walking. When I'm here, the child's not learning how to pre-walk. So you'll see babies like this, and they go wee wee wee, and they scoot around, and they start doing this. Yeah, that's pre-walk. Now I realize if I let him go, he's gonna go back here. But see what I'm doing here is allowing him to breathe in this position, for him to look in this position. And this is where I differ than, I shouldn't say it, but anyway, the way I was trained, if he's not capable of doing it, you don't do it. My whole thing is, how do you know? You know what I mean? I'm not forcing him.
Yeah.
I'm not putting him in pain, I'm not putting him into, so why can't he slowly? And another thing, if you've noticed, for the most part, unless he's maybe playing with the beats a little bit, doesn't bring his arms over his shoulder, except for right here.
If he can do that, then he'll be able to.
See, right there, he did it.
You wanted me to do something? I think he's free.
So the fact that he's doing these things occasionally is a sign that with continued work and help, he'll be able to do them
Yeah,
later on.
if I put him in this position and his inflection really kicked in, or his startle and stuff, that means I'm going too fast, and that's when I have to back up. But at the same time, like, I just put up a full lesson, something I don't do normally, but I thought it was so important. We just worked last week with a girl who's got CP and cortical visual impairments.
That was a good one.
And
Does he just
It
not
showed-
realize it's there?
Right, he does something. I have to keep getting his attention. But see, now he's getting more, he's getting better,
right,
and he can actually look around.
but see, this is
He's
when.
working hard.
But this is where a lot of people would say, oh, he can't do it, and they wouldn't continue it. But what I'm allowing is the processing time. So this girl did amazing crossing midline, whatever, for the ball, and then we brought out a new object, and she looked like she had a heart attack. She was like, but we waited, and we waited, and we waited, and she came around, you know what I mean? But you had to work with the processing time. But when someone comes in to evaluate these kids in 3 seconds and goes, well, they can't go blah, 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 I'm like, but their argument is, well, if they were typical, they wouldn't need the processing time. Come on, crawl. Come on,
I think that's
crawl.
one of the big problems
There you
now.
go. Bring your
There's no
pelvis
processing
around.
time for anybody.
No.
And I think that's a huge problem for anybody.
Come on, bring your knees forward. There you go, there you go. Yeah, there you go. Now see how dramatic I'm being? I don't care. He's learning how to bear rate left, right, there we go.
There we go.
Oh, wow.
Oh, look at the big boy. Look at the big boy.
Now could he do that on his own? Heck no.
No.
But it was successful. And that's where I go back to the Patronus. Now he at least, what? I know.
I did it.
But do you see the head extension, how he's still got to work on that? I know. And now I'm doing the same thing I had him in sitting. I'm rotating the chest cavity enough so he can be successful looking at me. Because remember, a baby won't do anything that's difficult or hurts them. I tried that, it doesn't work. They don't have mind over matter. He's not like, well, that worked yesterday, it should work today. What? There you go, and now there's other people.
Wow.
Hi, buddy.
There's other people, there you go.
That's great, that's great.
Look at the toys over here.
Yeah.
You get sleepy eyes though?
He pulls at his ears like that whenever he gets tired.
When he was rubbing his eyes too.
Yeah.
So now what I'm gonna do is twist him a little bit. See, so the knee weakens, or I'll go like this. It's okay, it's okay. There you go, come down.
He looks pretty pleased with himself.
I know you'd love to do that, don't you? Huh?
What? Yeah. You done? Should we give you to mommy for some food?
See, I can't even open my eyes all the way.
Do you have any questions?